Welcome to the Somos Sunnyside podcast, brought to you by the Office of Public Information, where we are sharing stories about the bright side of education.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. We have an awesome guest today. Can't wait to share who he is and what he's done. He's known for winning. All this guy does is win, 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 right? It's like that song, that rap song, right? And so Sergio Vega is our guest today. He is a 3-time state champ, and you have such a long resume. I'm going to screw this up, but I think what's important is you're number one in the nation in your weight class. You just won the number one versus number two national wrestling tournament. So you're the best high school in the, what's your weight class? Are we 138? 138 pound, number one in the nation. And so, we want to hear your story. So what's going on, Sergio? How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to do this.
All right, cool. It's I think what I'm most amazed by all the time is people's will to win, right? Will to win, and I don't think it's something that, I don't know if that's learned, if you just have it in you, but you refuse to fail, you refuse to lose. And when I say that, I'm not just talking wrestling. I think people that know you and know your story, Sergio, that or should I call you Serge? Is that the cool? You go by Serge or Sergio?
Serge is cool.
Serge is cool. All right, we'll keep it cool then. So Serge's story is, I'm not just talking about the wrestling, the will to win. I think everything you do in life, you want to finish out on top, and that's super impressive. And so, I want to talk a little about your journey, talk about, you growing up and what were the, what was it like to be in the shoes of Sergio Vega, growing up as a young man that attended Gallego primary, went on to Gallego intermediate, and now at Sunnyside High School, you're a senior. 3-time state champ, chasing that 4th state championship. You guys are about to kick off the season here.
Yep.
And so tell us, what was it like growing up? What were you like, right? Because I look at you and I'm like, if I didn't know who you were, I'd be like, this guy's not a wrestler. Like, this guy, he's got the shaggy haircut. He's got the glasses on. I'd be like, this guy, where's his skateboard at or something, right? But you get on the mat and he's a machine. So tell us, what was it like growing up as Sergio Vega?
I mean, a lot of people that don't know me from since I was little would probably think it's funny because I was a completely different kid. Like, I used to never like wrestling, and I was a little chunky kid, and I never like really did like much sports like wrestling wise. I'd always just like go to school and then come home, play outside on my bike or play kickball and do all that stuff. But like a lot of people right now, they think I just win and win and win, but they didn't see like all the losses. I went a lot of years without even scoring points in matches, and it was just like a lot of the times my dad would take me to all these tournaments and I wouldn't do very well, or I just didn't really like wrestling or enjoy it as much. But I mean, he always told me like you're gonna have fun with it and you're gonna do it if you're with me. So I was just like, all right, I might as well just like have fun as much as I can. But then you don't find success, and when you're a little kid, you want to win, and then you realize like as you get older, I was probably like 6U, 8U, I'd win because I'd practice 1 day a week. You don't need work ethic when you're little, so it was like I'd take second place at nationals, and then it was like those 8U, 10U, 12U, that's where you like have to, you have to work hard. And then it was just, as a little kid, I didn't really like it much. Like I liked wrestling, but I didn't like the grind or I didn't have work ethic, so it was just I wasn't finding much success. But
so were you that kid when you lost? Were you the Llorón kid? Where you did you cry, or you just at that point didn't really care at that point?
Yeah, it's funny because we talk about it now, and it's like I would cry, like not on the mat, but I'd cry after. But then it was like I would think to myself like, why are you crying? Like it's not like you practice hard or you actually cared for it at the time. But I mean, you don't like losing, so it's a reality check. Like Yeah. I don't know.
And that was harsh. I shouldn't have called you the Llorón, but it's funny because I remember going to see my wife's nephew wrestle when he was young, and going to these matches and driving to Phoenix and all these tournaments, and the kids that would lose would cry. It meant a lot to them, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay to cry because that means you care, right?
Yeah.
It means you care. So you come from a wrestling family. Your dad, Danny Vega, was a 3-time state champ, and I know that because I went to high school with him. I'm a couple years older than him, but he was a phenomenal wrestler at the time, and it's just awesome to see that he passed that down to you. And I know he has his Cyclone organization where he's always working with kids and giving back to the community, and that's what it's about. Your mom Evelyn Dagnino, the Dagnino family, awesome family, as well as the Vega family, are your parents are Sunnyside grads, right?
Yeah.
And I love that they kept you in this district, they believe in this district, and you're reaping the benefits of being a Sunnyside or soon to be Sunnyside graduate. But I want to go back to this thing, because I don't think people would believe you when you said, I didn't have the work ethic, I didn't care if I won or lost, I kind of learned. It's like you grew into it. So I think the interesting question here is, like, when did the light bulb go on? Like, do you remember the moment when it just that clicked in your head, where you said, like, darn, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to win, or I'm going to do it right, and I need to change some things?
Yeah, I remember. It was so I went in 8th grade during COVID, and then my brother, he came back from college, and he just we'd go in the wrestling room and we'd have fun and stuff, and then he just would, like, me and Carlos Stanton, we'd go in the room and have some fun, play spike ball, or like do these fun things where it was like we were getting better, but we didn't even really like think we were getting better because it wasn't like hard. And you think sometimes you think like you're gonna go into practice and be sweaty and super tired, and that's what's getting you better. But no, for us it was like we were just having fun and like getting in positions and doing all this stuff and just learning to enjoy the sport and love it. Really, that's what I feel was for me. And then over time you kind of get a little better. I remember my brother, he'd just like go in there and just roll us up for like hours, and it was we'd play games, and then he'd just roll us up, and then it was eventually you start getting a little better, you start learning more positions and wrestling him a little bit better. But my brother coming back from college and having a good partner, and also getting to hang out with your older brother was really cool.
Right. And that's Danny Jr. you're talking about, your older brother, who's also a state champ. Went to another high school. We won't mention it. We won't give him the credit here, but because we're such Blue Devil fans here. But no, and again, you come from that wrestling family, wrestling background. At what point, because I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, in terms of the accolades that you get, and does it hit you to think, like, I'm number one in the nation? Like, at what point, like, it takes special people to believe that, but since I've never been in that situation, is it just like I just do what I do and don't pay attention to that, or are there times where you got to pinch yourself and say, like, darn, I'm here, like I'm doing it?
Yeah, I think from a young age, my parents have always told me to like stay humble and not be like that kid that's always bragging about his stuff. And I don't really like doing that either, because I feel like anyone could be beat. And I think last year I wouldn't say I got cocky, but I just kind of it was my first time being ranked, and I was ranked really high. I was ranked 2nd in the country. And then I wasn't really doing my job like on the mat. I was doing my job, but not how I should have been doing it. Like, I was looking at it in the wrong way. Instead of having fun and going out there and like just enjoying the sport of wrestling, I was kind of thinking I had to like prove a point. And it kind of bit me in the butt when I was wrestling. And back in January, I took a loss, and it was probably a loss a lot of people didn't expect. I didn't expect it either. But I think that was the greatest thing for me, because, I mean, losses are always good. I've learned from a lot of the losses I took. I went from never winning to never losing in high school. I would still lose outside of season, but that was my first, like, loss in the high school season. So a lot of people were like, oh, like, what's wrong? Like, even my mom.
The haters started coming out, huh?
Yeah, like my mom, she was really worried about me, and I had to tell her, like, like, Mom, you have to remember, I never won, so, like, it's fine. Like, it's just a reality check. Like, anyone could be beat. So I don't really like to think about it too much because I know that anyone could be beat, and it's wrestling. That's why we do it. It's super unpredictable and stuff, so.
Right, and you know, and that's why you're number one.
Yeah.
I mean, that answers it all for me. I mean, it's I think people know you are a humble young man, you know, and you don't brag. You're not flashy or anything like that. And, you know, I've been to enough wrestling tournaments that you do see those individuals that are a little flashy and call attention to themselves. And you know, I remember hearing the news. I was actually at that tournament when that happened. And you know, I just admire the way you bounced back. You know, you didn't let the noise take you in a different direction. You know, you kind of stayed the course. And I think we all know that you know, with success, you know, failures also come with success, right? And we have to learn from the times we have failed, and you know, you're just a great example of that. And so, you know, I admire you for that, but you know, I do want you to brag a little bit here in terms of, like, you know, what has been your proudest moment as a wrestler, you know, in the sport? What has been your proudest moment? Has it been a certain tournament? Was it a certain win? Was it something different?
I probably have a lot, but I think maybe the most, like, the best I felt after a match was probably last year at Super 32 when I wrestled the number one kid in the country. It was at Super 32, and we were wrestling in the semis, and the day before I had hurt my knee. And a lot of people didn't know that, but, like, I couldn't even really warm up or do anything. And I just remember Coach Leon. He's always really good with his words, and I listen to him a lot. And he was just telling me, like, he just always gives us advice. And he's just always, his thing is, why not you? And I really like that. And I was just thinking, like, I won the quarters match, knew I was going to wrestle the number one kid in the country. And I was just thinking, why not me? Why not go out there and have some fun? You're hurt right now, but the guy doesn't really care. So I was just thinking, why not me? Why not go out there and have some fun? And then with about, like, 15 seconds left, I ended up taking the kid down and beating him. And that's kind of where, like, I started getting recognized on the national level with wrestling and stuff.
All right. That's awesome. Awesome story. And so, you know, I do want to go back to talking about Coach Leon, but we're going to take a quick break. To those listeners, don't go away. We got a lot more for you.
Sunnyside students can have it all, learning and growing to graduate college, career, and community ready. Don't believe us? Just watch. At Sunnyside Unified School District, we are preparing our graduates with real-world skills and experiences. Our graduates are leaving Sunnyside to pursue an Ivy League education, becoming collegiate-level athletes, and earning prestigious scholarships such as the Gates Millennium, Dell, and Dorrance.
All right, so, you know, you were talking about Coach Leon, and you know, I think, you know, we just had your signing event, you know, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. You know, you have just signed to attend Oklahoma State University, to be an Oklahoma State Cowboy, and they have a prestigious wrestling program over there. And you know, as I hear the individuals that spoke there, Coach Leon was one of the individuals that spoke. You know, he didn't talk about your wins. He didn't talk about your work ethic. He talked about your ability to bounce back from adversity. He talked about your willingness to refuse to stay down when you're down, right? I mean, we all get knocked down every once in a while, right? We're all, you know, have those days where they're not good days, you know,
Yeah.
and that was impressive that, you know, he talked about this piece of Sergio has a special ability to bounce back from these tough situations. And so, you know, I think that's what separates sometimes the good ones from the great ones, right?
Yeah.
Is those special things, right? That happen along the way, and those special moments that you remember. You know, earlier you told us about, this is when I knew I like kind of had arrived. You know, this moment where I was hurt, and I beat the at the time he was the number one kid in the nation. And what were you ranked at that time?
I was ranked 5th, I think.
5th in the nation, and you beat number one, right? And so, you know, I know it takes, you know, success comes with support. We always talk about that. And so it does take amazing individuals like your parents, you know, like Coach Leon, and I'm sure there's other coaches that you work with, and friends, right? You hanging out with the right teammates, I should say, instead of friends. Well, and I'm sure they're your friends as well, but it takes like they say, it takes a village, right, to raise, certain individuals. And so, I want to talk about, and I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear this, is you had been verbally committed to Cornell University, right? Probably for, I don't know, maybe a little over a year now.
Yeah.
And Ivy League school. And I think one of the things I want to talk about and brag about, because I think our student athletes don't get enough credit in this area, is this area of academics. You're a 4.0 student, above a 4.0 GPA. You're probably near the top of your class, and ranking in terms of academic wise, and you have to check all the boxes to be offered scholarships, right? They just don't give them away. They're not like Cracker Jacks, and stuff. You have to fit the criteria, and you fit. Our kids fit. Not only Sergio Vega, but every year Sunnyside is putting wrestlers in Division I schools and other Division II schools and junior colleges and so forth. And a lot of our student athletes are moving on. And being a former student athlete, myself, I didn't go to no Division I school, but sometimes our student athletes don't get credit for what they do in the classroom. And I think your approach of just, I call it your will to win, and being the best you can be in everything you do, where does that come from? Like that will to win. And I'm not just talking wrestling, I'm talking just being a winner in life. Where does that come from?
Yeah, I think just learning to not take things too serious. In life, you're going to have ups and downs, and Coach Leon always preaches stuff in the room. Sometimes you're tired at practice, and you have those conversations with him after, and it's like, dang, I'm tired. I just want to go in the locker room and lay down. But then you think about it later, like especially me, I think about those things later when I'm at home and stuff, and I'm just like, dang, like this guy knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. So I just think about a lot of the things that my parents, coaches, and brother, all of them, my whole support system, everything that they tell me, even if sometimes I don't do a good job of listening to them right away, I always go back and think about all that stuff because you always need it sometimes.
So what did it feel like when college started reaching out to you? I mean, who was I'm sure you remember the first, big college that reached out to you and said, hey, we're interested in you. So talk to us a little bit about that. When did you start getting noticed? What talk to us about that process of colleges starting to recognize you and then the offers that start coming in terms of scholarships.
Yeah, so June 15th, 2023 was when...
To be exact.
Yeah, I always remember that because that's the first day colleges can reach out to you and recruit you. So I got a couple calls there, and it was really cool because it was like people that my brother was wrestling for, or people that he knew, and they were now recruiting me, or guys I went and watched wrestle. They were all recruiting me and stuff. So it was cool. It was a really good experience.
Can you name drop a little bit or
Oh, yeah, like at Indiana, there was Angel Escobedo. He was my brother's coach. At Virginia, there was the Paulson brothers. Then there's Corey Crooks at Oregon State. It was just a lot of good colleges. And my whole recruiting process was really good. I didn't have one bad experience, but it sucks at the end of the day. You're going to have to narrow it down to one, and people are going to be happy, people are going to be sad, but...
Well, Sergio, that doesn't suck, man. That's not too many people are in that situation where they can choose, first of all, right? And so you had like a buffet list of colleges to choose from. And so when did Cornell come to the picture? And I know we're not going to talk about Cornell, but, I mean, it's so impressive that it's an Ivy League school and that you caught their attention, and they have a strong wrestling program.
Yeah, it's actually funny. They called me the first day. I missed their call because I was at practice, and then I called them. They missed my call. The next time I missed their call. So we were playing phone tag for a little bit, but yeah, it was funny. My dad was on me for that one.
You got chewed out for that one, huh?
Yeah, he said, they're Ivy League. Why aren't you answering them?
Yeah.
Dad, I was at practice.
Priorities, Dad, priorities. As I think, for the longest time, individuals were you had penciled in Cornell, and then I don't know how long ago, but not pretty recent, I would say a couple months ago, there was a switch. Now it's Oklahoma State University. So talk to us a little bit about what can you share with us about that decision, and why Oklahoma State? Why are they the lucky ones?
Yeah, so after who's number one, there's Roman, there's a couple ties in there, so
No, who is that? Who is
Roman Bravo Young. And
RBY? Everybody knows Roman Bravo Young.
yeah, so there was a couple ties, and they reached out.
And he is now, isn't he an assistant coach there as well?
He's an RTC athlete, so there's
Okay.
like after college you could do freestyle, and it's called the Regional Training Center. So they have that. So he's out there training.
Oh, gotcha.
He could be like a mentor coach, kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so I started talking to them the week of who's number one after that, and I told the Cornell people like some school reached out and stuff, so I let them know. And I was just like, I talked to my family and my coaches, and we were all just like, you have an Olympic champion actually, and an Olympic bronze medalist who are trying to get you to their school. It's like, you kind of be dumb not to listen to them. So it was like, I know you're going to Cornell, and a lot of, there's going to be haters who say you have no loyalty and stuff. But at the end of the day, I just realized I had to do what's best for me and my family.
That's right.
And I knew I had to look into it, and yeah.
So it's about being loyal to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And to your family. And so who are when you talk about the gold medalist and the bronze medalist coaches, so who are they?
David Taylor is an Olympic champion, and Thomas Gilman is an Olympic bronze medalist.
So David Taylor, he wrestled at Penn State, right?
Yes.
Penn State University. And where did Gilman wrestle?
Iowa.
At Iowa. Okay. Wow. I mean, what a ride, right? And so I'm sure you've taken recruiting visits up there in Stillwater, right?
Yeah, I actually committed on my visit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And don't you got another visit scheduled or?
No, I'm signed now, so I can't take any more visits. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
So they actually got the letter of intent, huh? In ink.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Good. So what did you think about Stillwater when you visited the campus in town? What did you fall in love with it? Did you like what you saw, what they had to offer?
Yeah, it was really cool. I took a lot of visits because there used to be a cap on visits for, I don't know if it was all athletes, but I know wrestlers had 5, like when my brother was in college or high school. And now they made it unlimited, so I took as many as I could. I took all of them.
So where did you go? Tell us where you went. We want to hear the list.
So my first one was at Virginia, and then I went to Indiana, and then I went to Oregon State, then Oklahoma, Purdue, Northern Colorado, Iowa State, Cornell, Oklahoma State, and I may be missing a few, but
You lost track, right?
Yeah.
It's just a little too many to keep track of. So talk to us, Stillwater. So all I hear about Oklahoma is there's twisters out there, man. Are you ready for the twisters? I mean, I hear there's tornadoes, there's sirens. I mean, don't watch the movie. What's that movie that just came out?
I watched that movie with my
Did
dad.
you already watch it? Oh man. So it's definitely a shift in culture, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think wrestling's taken you all over the country, right? In terms of seeing the country and probably outside of this nation as well, right? To other countries, but when you're living there every day, I mean, it's definitely a big shift, right? You're going to be a Southside kid moving to Oklahoma, being in Stillwater. So what is tell us a little bit about that.
I knew going into the recruiting process that it was going to be a change because I knew I wasn't going to stay in Arizona. I wasn't going to go to Arizona State. So I knew wherever I was going to end up, it was going to be different. So I think knowing that, it was a little easy to it's going to be changed no matter what. But I'm excited for it.
All right, so we got a couple more questions. I mean, I could probably speak to you all day here, Serge, and thank you for being so open and sharing this information with our listeners. Everybody wants to be a part of a winner, right? And so, I think what's your message to the little, Sunnyside Blue Devil Wrestling Club? A lot of kids start when they're young. They start going to that wrestling room, and they look up to the RBYs, to individuals like yourself, and I know Carlos Stanton is you have the Mikey Avalar, who just went, and then we have the Rivera brothers that are wrestling in college as well, and so the list goes on and on and on. There's definitely this legacy there at Sunnyside, and so all these young kids want to grow up and be like you guys, and we want them to work hard. But what's your message to those young kids?
I would say just have fun and not to take things too serious because, like I said before, it's wrestling and we do it because we want to have fun, not because we want to win medals or win all this other stuff. So I would say just have fun and work hard. Once you develop a strong work ethic and you have fun, your level just goes up like tremendously. And I think just that. And my dad would always preach to me that you have to take the good out of people. So like all my role models, I had a lot of role models at Cyclones, and then you watch all these other guys and you have a lot of role models. So it's just take the good out of all of them. And then I do that with my wrestling too. Like I have all my coaches, I have my partners. I just try to take what they're good at and make it my own. So I think just trying to get the positive out of people, and not everyone's perfect, so you're not going to be getting everything positive from them, but just making the positives come and try to make it your own.
So what's your this is a tougher question. What's your message to parents? Because there's some I'll put it out there. There's some diehard parents. I mean they want to win more than their kids want to win sometimes, right? And they start them very young now. And so what is your message to parents out there?
I'd say probably just not to push them too hard. Wrestling is really hard, and if the kid doesn't love it and you love it more than your kid, they're not going to find success, and it's just going to burn them out. But I mean, it's actually funny. There's this kid, Bo Bassett, and he's like one of the top kids right now. But I like what he says. He says, if you love the sport of wrestling, you're not going to get burnt out of it. So I think just letting your kid learn how to develop love for the sport, and then once they find that out, you're going to find success. I mean, you guys want to win, but I mean, wrestling, especially wrestling, I think you're going to need to take the losses, and you're going to need to have those hard things in life to where your kids need to learn from it. So just not being too hard on them and letting them love the sport.
All right, there you go, parents. That's some great advice from a very, very smart young man here. And in terms of goals, Serge, what are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? Like, what do you hope to get out of this experience? I mean, you're going to be going to Oklahoma State University for the next several years. I'm sure you have a lot of aspirations, in terms of the success you'll have. But tell us, what are these short-term goals? What are these long-term goals for you?
I would say this year I'm trying to finish the school year off #1 pound for pound in the country. We're going to Ironman December 6th and 7th, and I'm going to have the #1 pound for pound kid in the country there, so that's something I could look forward to. Got to look forward to those tough things, so just that. And then going to a Hall of Fame duels, we're going to go as a team there, and I think we could compete with the best. We don't have all the stuff that they have, but I mean, we make the most out of what we have here in Tucson and on the south side. So I think our guys will be tough, and we're going to be able to do some good things there. So I just want to finish the year off with the kids that I've been wrestling with for basically my whole life. Whenever I would go to practice when I was little, not much, but I just want to finish off the year good with my friends, and it's my last year, so just make the most out of it. And I'd say long-term goals is everyone wants to be a national champ. I want to be it 4 times, so hopefully I could do that. World champion, Olympic champion. You got to strive. My dad always tells me, you're a good coach when your guys could do more than what you did. So you're going to wrestle for an Olympic champion. I mean, you want to do more than what he did, and I'm sure he wants me to do that too. So I'm excited.
That's awesome. Well said. And we're definitely pulling for you. We wish you continued success. I mean, you're an amazing story, but don't let the story end, right?
Yeah.
You got your whole life ahead of you. You've accomplished more than people would even hope to accomplish, and so, but it's for a reason. It's because of the young man you have become. It's because of your support, and what's even sweeter is just you're an inspiration to young people in this community, and not only young people, but all people of all ages. And so, we know our wrestling community and our fan base is strong here. A lot of the alumni, keep track of Sunnyside Wrestling, and there's a special respect there. And they've been winners for a long time, 36 state championships and chasing another one. And it's so good to see that, Sunnyside is now competing at national levels. It was before, it was a lot of the tournaments were local, in state. Now we're going to Stillwater, Oklahoma. We're going to Reno, Nevada. We're going to, where else are we going this year?
Fresno, California.
Fresno, California, and we're putting it out there, and to be the best, you got to wrestle the best, right? And so, we can't wait to see what the future holds for you. I mean, I think your future's bright. Can't wait to see you win those national championships and hopefully one day, chasing a gold medal, And so, the district and our governing board here is super proud of you. And, we can't wait to see, the season kick off here soon. So we want to wish you continued success, Serge.
Thank you.
And want to thank you for coming on the show. For all you young listeners out there, the message here is anything is possible. Anything is possible. You got to have fun with what you do. You got to love what you do. And we heard it here from the number one ranked wrestler in the nation, 138 pounds, Sergio Vega. Yes, he has that same name of the norteño singer Sergio Vega.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to be even more famous than that guy. So in all seriousness here, what a great inspiration, and we hope that our young people, look up to you and try to chase your dreams, in terms of in creating their dreams. So that wraps up this episode of Somos Sunnyside. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found it entertaining. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and share our podcast with la comunidad. For updates on future episodes and more, be sure to follow us on social media and visit our website at susd12.org. We appreciate your support and can't wait to have you back for the next episode. Hasta la próxima vez en Somos Sunnyside.